Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Perfect weather.
It is beautiful outside. Yeah, it feels a little like
be.
fall, you bet.
Absolutely. We'll get to all that in a second, but first, topping the news today, Packer fans want to know, will Aaron Rodgers be ready to play next weekend after last night's near disaster at Lambeau? Sports director Jay Wilson is here.
A Portage area man appears in court after he's accused of shooting Nerf gun darts modified with needles at his three of his young stepchildren. Our Madeline O'Neill is live with the latest on that.
And Hurricane Florence, with her Category 4 winds bearing down on the Carolinas. Not good.
That is so scary. My parents are in coastal Carolina, so I'm getting an ulcer watching this, and I think so is everybody else who has loved ones in the Carolinas. It's a very scary situation.
In contrast, our weather couldn't be much calmer.
Right. We get the good side of it. The more the storms bear down in the Atlantic, the nicer, sunnier, and warmer our weather gets. This is a very autumnal picture.
Well, were we told this is a goldenrod? Okay. There you go. Lives up to its name. Can't get enough, the weather words. And Dana Fulton is in the backyard. Let's bottle this stuff up.
Guys, I'm not coming back inside, so I can do the rest of my forecast out here. It's perfect outside. Really been a lovely weekend for us, starting off the work week in a good way. So hopefully you didn't have a bad case of the Mondays. Mother Nature was trying to help you out. A live look from Platteville with our Queen Bee radio sky cam. A nice, mostly clear sky right now. A lot of blue up there and no rain at all. As we look at our Doppler track, things look really fantastic throughout much of the Midwest today. Nice mellow sky again this weekend. That was good things for Wisconsin and of course parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio also drying out from the rain that they saw over the last several days. Things are looking pretty good. Temperature-wise, it feels fantastic. 71 in Madison right now, about 73 in Janesville, 73 in Mineral Point as well, with our dew points in the 40s. Really feels wonderful outside. I can definitely say that. If you have any outdoor plans over the next several hours, you are all good to go. No complaints here. Flashing ahead to tomorrow, notice this trend. Expected to continue. If you can't get enough, we're going to give you just a little more sunshine for us for Tuesday. Temps will be just slightly warmer in the mid-70s. We will be warming up by the end of the week. We'll take a closer look at that 10-day forecast in just a few minutes. Right now, we'll check in and see what's going on with our first alert traffic. Right now, things look fairly smooth throughout much of Dane County. We still have just a few road closures downtown, but the Beltline there, even by John Nolan Drive, seems to be going okay. No major slowdowns there. Still have parts of 14 closed near Cross Plains because of flooding, but things are starting to reopen in this dry weather. Only good news for folks still trying to dry up from the rain that we've seen over the last 3 weeks. I think my forecast, guys, as we look ahead to the next 10 days, you're really going to like what's on the way. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
All right, we'll just keep lining them up here. We'll take them. Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, we've been talking about this all day today.
I'm exhausted.
We're all exhausted because it was a game for the ages.
The Green Bay Packers came back from a big deficit and an injured quarterback to defeat the Chicago Bears, but today, the big question is the health of that quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Sports director Jay Wilson is here now with maybe some answers. Rodgers last night at the end of the game said, yeah, I'm playing.
Oh, it stopped everybody's heart, though.
You said maybe some answers. If you ask Mike McCarthy a question, sometimes you get maybe answers. Like this.
Maybe.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers confidently said last night he'd play against the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field this coming Sunday. Today, head coach Mike McCarthy didn't quite go that far. Rodgers already won the Comeback Player of the Year award by getting off the cart, coming back in the second half and rallying the Packers from 20 down to beat the Bears 24-23. McCarthy says he knows Rodgers wants to play this week, but
we're still collecting all the information on his specific situation. And, you know, I know Aaron wants to play and is always driven to play, but that's all I have for right now.
Mike, when will that collection process be concluded?
We're working on it. That's all I have for right now. I mean, it's, if the next 4 questions are going to be the same, I mean, just ditto the answer. I mean, really, we are where we are.
McCarthy said there's no guarantee if you play in the second half of one Sunday game that you'll play in the game the next Sunday, so get ready for a week of speculation, Twitter rumors, and cloak and dagger investigations into one of the most important questions of the week. Will Aaron Rodgers play against the Minnesota Vikings Sunday at Lambeau Field? As Mike McCarthy said, we're still collecting information. So
that's very good.
They'll be collecting information till about noon on Sunday, I think. So.
Well, he has a point. He would have gotten the same question 5 times.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how do you do that, though.
It's early in the season. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
No, but if Deshaun Kaiser's in, I think it's the end of the world. Isn't it?
It's the end
I
of the
think we saw
season.
that movie before, didn't we? Last
Yeah,
year,
that was not.
starring,
That was
No,
not
it does
good.
put in
The other guy.
perspective how important he is to
Maybe
the
he's worth
team.
$134 million.
Yes.
See?
Perhaps. I mean, that was a clinic last night. That second
that was
half, on one leg.
Poor Bears fans. I
do, that's
so
true.
bad for those guys.
I do too.
Maybe someday, but
Maybe
not this day.
Not this day. All right, Jay. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay. A stepfather accused of shooting Nerf gun darts modified with needles is in Columbia County Court today and facing 3 counts of child abuse.
The Portage area man is accused of shooting the dart at 3 of his young stepchildren. Our Madeline O'Neill is following this story and joins us live from Portage with more. Maddie.
Mark and Susan, 33-year-old Brian Alexander's cash bond is set at $1,000 after his first court appearance here today. He's been in jail at Columbia County since Wednesday, according to a criminal complaint just released today. The sheriff's department first heard about the alleged abuse earlier this month. They say it happened multiple times over the past year at a town of Lewiston home where Alexander lived with a woman and 4 children. Court documents show the children ages 6 to 9 say Alexander shot at them with the Nerf needles, and one showed small red marks. The criminal complaint says Alexander originally denied doing so, but eventually admitted to shooting at the 3 of the children with the needle darts once. That's something detectives say isn't easy to stomach.
Well, disgust. I mean, these kids were young. To subject them to this type of a torture, I think, is inhumane, and it really pulls at the heartstrings. It's just something that you would not expect to ever investigate.
Sheriff's Department officials say they're still investigating if any other adults in the household knew about or participated in the alleged abuse. They're also bringing in officials from Juneau County after indications that Alexander may have done something similar there as well. And now, since 2011, he had a disorderly conduct charge, but we learned in court today that Alexander hasn't had any significant charges brought against him before this. He's due back in court in December.
All right, Madeline O'Neill live for us in Portage. Thank you.
Hurricane Florence is currently at Category 4 and aiming for the shoreline between North and South Carolina later this week. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster ordered mandatory evacuations for most of his state's coastline. John Shumo has the latest.
A mass exodus is underway on Hatteras Island, where residents and visitors were ordered to leave before Hurricane Florence moves in. Crews work to build up sand dunes for protection. Vacationer Tony Hill took his boat out of the water and is headed home.
Cuts our vacation short, but it's okay. Better than being out here when it's 150-mile-an-hour winds.
A look from outer space shows a rapidly strengthening Hurricane Florence, now a Category 4 over the warm Atlantic waters.
We here in North Carolina are bracing for a hard hit.
The problem, forecasters say, is once it hits land and puts the brakes on.
They're in the midst of their wettest summer ever, and now you're going to put, in certain areas, 15 inches of rain on top of that, maybe 30 inches in some localized area. There could very well be some catastrophic flooding.
Florence will be the first major hurricane to hit North Carolina head-on since Fran in 1996. That storm caused $8 billion in damage and claimed 37 lives.
I was here in Raleigh during Fran, and we were without power for 2 weeks, and I vow to never live through that again.
Folks in Wrightsville Beach lined up to fill propane tanks.
We still have a couple of days to get ready, so let's use that time.
North Carolina has only been hit by one Category 4 hurricane since records were started more than 150 years ago. John Shumo, CBS News.
Here at home, we'll soon have a better idea of how much damage flooding caused in Sauk County.
That's because emergency management officials are assessing flood-damaged homes today. Rose Schmidt is here to break down the damage assessments for us. Rose?
That's right. This is all part of an effort to put together a statewide application for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA would decide whether to make a disaster declaration here. Emergency management officials from around the state were in Laval and Reedsburg today. They're going to homes classified as major or destroyed, meaning there was at least 8 feet of water in homes with basements or 2 to 5 feet of water in homes without basements. These 2 assessors here came from Waupaca and Winnebago counties to help.
So most people have already called in their information to the county EOC, and we're just out verifying that information, that the classification is right, whether it's major, destroyed, minor, or affected. We're just verifying that information, and then the cost value that goes along with it.
On News 3 at 5, we'll introduce you to the man who owns this home in Reedsburg. It was so badly damaged by floodwaters that it had to be condemned. If you live in Sauk County, you should call the number on your screen to report flood damage. You can also pick up cleanup kits at 5 locations in Sauk County.
In the newsroom, Rose, thank you.
Bob Woodward's new book, Fear, paints the Trump administration as chaotic. The president describes it as a smooth operation. It's just part of the latest back and forth between the two in the lead up to the book's release tomorrow. Woodward is defending his book, saying his reporting is meticulous and careful. President Trump continues to attack the book. He tweeted this morning, "The Woodward book is a joke, just another assault against me in a barrage of assaults using now disproven, unnamed, and anonymous sources."
The incidents are not anonymous. It gives a date, it gives a time, who participates, most often the president himself and what he says.
A number of people have come out and said that Woodward never even reached out to corroborate statements that were attributed to them.
President Trump says Woodward's book has been discredited, pointing to Defense Secretary James Madison and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, both denying, saying, quotes, attributed them in the book. Woodward says they are not telling the truth.
Well, a little later in this newscast, we'll talk about Bob Woodward and his book with Madison author and Washington Post associate editor David Marinis.
And if you're looking for a good scare at the movies, our Will Loper says The Nun may be right up your alley. We'll get his review when Live at 4 continues. Julie Chen, the wife of CBS Chairman Leslie Moonves, did not appear today on the season premiere of her show, The Talk.
A new round of sexual misconduct allegations forced Moonves to step down.
As you all know, Julie's husband is in the news.
Moonves stepped down after a new article detailing 6 more allegations of sexual assault appeared in the New Yorker. All of the alleged incidents happened between the 1980s and early 2000s. Retired TV executive Phyllis Gordon Gottlieb says Moonves forced her to perform oral sex, threw her violently against a wall, and ruined her career. Accusations that Moonves denies.
There's a disturbing pattern of aggressive and some would say predatory behavior toward people that were clearly subservient to him.
Moonves released a statement saying untrue allegations from decades ago are being made against me that are not consistent with who I am. I am deeply saddened to be leaving the company. Moonves could receive around $100 million as part of a severance package, but that is dependent on an internal investigation which will determine if CBS had cause to fire its top executive.
Stocks were mixed on Wall Street as investors shrug off trade war worries. The Dow Industrials lost 59 points, ending the day at 25,857. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 21, and the S&P 500 was up 5.
I had a series of visions when I was younger. And after each one ended, the same thought would be stuck in my head. What did you see? I saw a nun.
Oh. Having gone to a Catholic school, that was a clip from The Nun, one of the newest movies to scare its way into theaters.
It had the second largest September opening of all time, but is it worth seeing? Here to let us know what he thinks is our film critic, Will Loper. Hi, Will.
Hi, Will. That didn't bring up a sense of nostalgia for you,
Yes, Sister Immaculata. Oh, dear. All right.
Anyway, well, hey, if it's quick and easy jump scares you're looking for, The Nun fits into the habit just fine. But no amount of Hail Marys can make this a good movie. So Taissa Farmiga and Demian Bashir star as a nun and priest sent by the church to investigate a suicide at an abbey in Romania. Turns out a portal to hell has been opened there. And of course, the only way to keep a demon from coming out is to just keep praying. Now, none of the characters are particularly bright. Throughout the film, they hear footsteps or bells jingling and decide to go investigate by themselves. And of course, bad things happen. The film has a simple formula. Everything's quiet, and then there's a very loud, abrupt noise to make you jump out of your seat. It's not truly scary, it's just startling. But the location of the film is fantastic. The atmosphere of the Abbey is really creepy. It's all just wasted on the jump scares. But hey, it's exactly what the trailer promises, so if you like the trailer, go see the movie.
Well, why do you think it had such a big opening?
Well, people just love to go see horror movies. They love that sort of thrill ride experience where it's quiet, where you know it's coming, and then you hear the scare and everybody jumps and you hear the theater laughing, so it's sort of a roller coaster ride for people.
I hate those jump scares.
I know, me too. It's like a door slamming in my house when no one's home is scary, but it's just startling.
But this doesn't give it all away in the trailer, this movie.
No,
oh, that's
absolutely
good.
not. Yeah, there's some twists along the way, so.
And why did they go alone?
I know, I'm just shaking my head every time. They go outside to the graveyard by himself.
Sure,
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, portal to hell is right out there. All right, so what's the rating here?
2.8 flying nuns out of 5.
I thought it'd be a little lighter fare, the Flying Nun.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, Peppermint.
Find her. I don't care if you have to burn the city down.
Watching someone take everything from you, it turns you into somebody else.
So Jennifer Garner plays a woman whose husband and daughter are killed by a gang, and after the guys who killed them go free, she spends the next 5 years training to become a killing machine and gets her revenge. There's not a whole lot new this movie brings to the vigilante revenge film. Jennifer Garner is the best part of the film. She's intense and fully committed to her role. Everyone else plays one-dimensional stereotypes, especially the bad guys. One sequence involving a shootout in a piñata store feels original, the rest is derivative. But just like The Nun, this is a movie where you get exactly what the trailer advertises. So if you think the trailer looks good, go see the movie. Just don't expect a whole lot more than what you see.
Jennifer Garner's getting good reviews, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Her performance is great in this movie, and a lot are saying, and I agree, she deserves better than this.
Predictable.
Predictable. You know exactly what's coming. You've seen this how many times in other vigilante movies with Charles Bronson and Keanu Reeves and Jodie Foster.
Yeah, but don't mess with a mom.
Don't mess with
the mom.
Let me tell you.
Ever.
All right, what's the rating?
This one, 2.9 pinatas out of 5.
Rough weekend for you.
It was not that great.
All right, well, next week.
Let's hope the Predator sequel next in the franchise. No word on Arnold making an appearance or not, but I don't know.
See.
Yeah, it's summer's over.
Yes.
All right, well, hang in there.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, well, good to see you.
Good to see ya.
Well, coming up, freezing your credit may not protect you from ID thieves.
When we come back, we'll find out how the thieves get away with it. That's coming up later on Live at 4.
Take a look at this. Thousands watched a dazzling display of fireworks that lit up the night skies over Paris this weekend. The Grand Feu event, Europe's largest pyrotechnic display, lasted over 2 hours. Some 60,000 fireworks accompanied by music were set off during the 10th annual event.
2 hours.
2 hours.
That's a lot of fireworks.
A lot of fireworks.
That's great. Today is Monday, September 10th. It is the start of Rosh Hashanah, which the name means the beginning of the new year in Hebrew. It is a day of rest and prayer. So Happy New Year to all of our Jewish friends.
It's also I'm on top of it day.
Are you?
I am.
Okay, good. And it's also
Always.
National Hot Dog Day. They became popular just recently in this century, the early 20th century. I think that everybody has a specific way that they like their hot dog done. That's the rule. It's like pizza.
Get Gary Canalto out here and put ketchup on that.
Oh,
you're going to hear about it.
And I love ketchup on my hot dog,
I
so
do too.
me and the Chicago man, we're going to have words.
Yeah, you can't do that in
Well,
Chicago.
we got mustard and ketchup.
Okay,
so.
options.
go.
Are you guys relish also? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, no?
Sauerkraut, onions.
Everything? Okay.
Sure.
There's no limit. If you're going to have a hot dog outside today, probably a good day for a picnic, grill out. It'll be good for this afternoon and this evening because things are looking fantastic right now. Nice clear sky for us. Very comfortable. Take a closer look at the week ahead in just a few minutes. It is just lovely outside. I want to look back at the last 24 hours. Our temperatures dropped quite a bit last night, but thankfully we warmed up quite a bit. That little roller coaster with a mostly clear sky. We're currently sitting in the low 70s for much of central and southern Wisconsin. But overall, no clouds really. Starting to see just a few in the southeast corner of the area, but most of us enjoying a lot of sunshine today. And the good news here, if you're getting ready to head out for some evening plans, that sunny trend is going to stay with us. No rain threats either. We've stayed dry for the last few days now. And throughout the Midwest, we're really seeing a dry trend. A few isolated showers towards the edge of South Dakota and Nebraska. Some showers off towards the East Coast right now. But our high pressure is going to help us stay mostly clear. As it continues to shift, though, our wind direction is going to shift rather than coming from the north, starting to come from the south. That just means our temps are going to warm up over the next few days pretty steadily, though. That's the good news. No major jump or drop, just a few degrees warmer every day and also a few degrees more humid, or a few higher points on our dew points. That's calm for us in the Midwest. Out in the Atlantic, a little bit of a different story. Of course, Hurricane Florence, still a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds at 140 miles per hour. Of course, wind gusts even higher than that. It's going to continue to move west-northwest through some pretty warm water, staying in that Category 4 length until we get towards Thursday. Thursday right now is when we're looking at the chance for landfall along the East Coast. The Carolinas seeing evacuations for the South Carolina coast starting tomorrow. North Carolina, this track as it shifts further north, certainly going to be impacted by the end of the week. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that track. The good news, though, not expecting to see any impact for us in Wisconsin. In fact, it's going to pull more moisture away from us, give us a little bit of a break for a few days. That'll be nice. Wind speeds currently are nice and calm and mellow. We'll stay just a few miles per hour. We may see 1 or 2 miles per hour, so that's considered just a breeze for us. Closer to 5 in Lone Rock. Temperature-wise, again, near 70 for us currently with that northern flow, but it is going to shift directions a little bit overnight, starting to bring some warmer air in. Overnight lows will fall close to 50 for us, into the upper 40s for some areas. By tomorrow afternoon, we're still in the 70s, but it will be a little warmer as we're seeing that southern flow for our Tuesday. By Wednesday, warmer yet again. The southern flow continues. May see a few more clouds on Wednesday, but otherwise another lovely day. The only downside to all this dry air and that clear sky helps our pollen kick up just a little more. The rain calms it down, and without any rain, we're going to see our pollen levels climb up. Specifically ragweed, still at that medium to high range for us. That's likely where it's going to stay for the next few days. Just a beautiful day downtown. No complaints with the forecast. Again, just a few clouds in the sky. High temps today at 72, so pretty close to average. And our low this morning, slightly cooler than where we should be. But I'm telling you, I had great sleeping weather. Even had the windows open throughout the apartment. It was great. 71 right now with that calm breeze for us. Dew points are in the mid-40s, so it's nice and comfortable. Overnight lows dropping close to 50 for us. Mostly clear. Very comfortable as that light breeze shifts, become more southern breeze. Tomorrow afternoon will be in the mid-70s rather than the low 70s, so that's when we start to warm up steadily, but still mostly sunny and quite mild for our Tuesday. As we look ahead to the next 7 days, that trend is going to really stay with us. Temperatures will be nice and sunny, will be mostly clear, and we are going to see that trend again moving into next week. Unfortunately, though, I do want to take note at what we do have ahead for the start of next week. Overall, our trend will stay dry through the weekend, but we are going to have a few shower chances increase by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Storm chances moving in as well for the middle of the week. And those storm chances right now will be more of just a slight chance for us. So we'll be keeping an eye on that again for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But a lot of sunshine there for the next several days, and the warming trend thankfully it doesn't warm us up too much, just in close to 80.
Little taste of summer.
Yes.
We're not done with it yet.
No, not at all. We still have a few more weeks to go before that. Tie a bow on it and then push it away.
Yeah, right.
I like that 10-day, just a couple of drops on there. So that's what we need.
Yes, it's been good.
All right, Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Freezing your credit may not always protect you from identity theft.
There's evidence they can still get credit in your name. Dorothy Tucker reports from Chicago.
You put a freeze at every credit bureau.
Yes.
Thinking what?
Thinking that my credit was safe, my identity was protected, and that nobody would be able to get a credit card in my name.
But an ID thief did get a credit card in David Lewis's name at this Home Depot and quickly rang up big bills at that store and 2 others.
That says that I owe them $6,200.48 for purchases I never made.
Lewis immediately contacted Fortiva, the company that sent him the bill in this new Home Depot Home Improver card, and asked,
"How were you able to issue a card in my name?" They said it wasn't their decision to issue a credit card, it was Home Depot's decision to issue the credit card.
This was actually the second Home Depot credit card the thief applied for. The first was denied because of a block in Lewis's credit file with Equifax. So in this case, the freeze worked. But it failed when Fortiva got involved. Its main business is what's called second look financing.
You don't want to disappoint anyone by saying no when they apply for financing.
It basically gives credit to people with less than stellar credit scores. But the real David Lewis has a near perfect score.
You froze it because you don't want credit cards open, yet they're still able to do that.
This is how a credit freeze works.
It prevents new accounts from being opened by companies you don't do business with, but it allows those companies to get enough information to send promotional offers. Companies that you have a relationship with can review your files.
This may be the loophole because it's unclear what transpired between Fortiva and Equifax concerning David Lewis. His credit report shows Fortiva contacted Equifax on May 26. 2 days later, the new account was opened.
I think we may have found a loophole in consumer protection laws that we need to close really quickly.
After our calls, Home Depot and Fortiva erased the fraudulent $6,200 debt. Fortiva removed the account from Lewis's credit file. Equifax called this a unique situation and said it has taken appropriate steps to ensure it won't happen again. Lewis remains concerned something similar could happen to others. Dorothy Tucker, CBS News.
It is frightening. A search of records from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found 2 similar cases in Georgia and Texas. Texas, that is. Experts still suggest putting a freeze on your credit to protect yourself.
You should also check your credit regularly by getting your annual free credit report from each of the credit bureaus.
Got to keep an eye on things. When we come back, we'll meet our pet of the week.
Marissa DeGroot is here, and she'll introduce us to this big boy, Danny. Oh, what a cutie. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Here's a live look at the boats outside the UW Memorial. Is the crew out there?
Oh,
Yeah,
there they are.
Is that your son?
Probably.
There they go. Back on the water. You said they were off because
they're back on the water
it was
now.
so high for so long. There they are. Hi, Matthew.
He's in one of those boats.
It's time for Potentially Yours here on Live at 4.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here to help us find Danny Boy of Forever Home. Hi, Marissa.
On Hot Dog Day.
Yep, we're celebrating Hot Dog Day too. So Danny here, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this one. He is just my type of dog. Well, I love them all, but especially these guys, these big old hound dogs.
He's almost got a little bloodhound look on.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah, he's got kind of those droopy little eyes, and he's a young adult, so we think he's probably over 1 year old, so this is probably full grown for him, but he's still such a young guy, so he is got lots of energy and is looking for a great home.
He actually couldn't be calmer out here.
Yeah.
He's got such a sweet disposition.
Because he absolutely loves to meet new people. When I first met him, he just came over, leaned up right against me, and gave me the tiniest little kiss on my nose, and I was smitten.
And his tail's been going.
Those sad hound dog eyes.
But he's a happy guy.
He is a happy guy.
And he was a stray or what?
He actually came to Dane County Humane Society from another local shelter in Wisconsin that had some overcrowding. And so now he is over in Dane County looking for a great new home, and probably one where he can have a nice backyard to run around in. He does have kind of that hound voice. You won't hear it too often, but when it does, it's pretty loud.
You're going to hear it.
So probably not quite an apartment dog, but maybe
Unless
a
you
good
have
house.
a very large apartment.
Yes, yes.
Because he needs room.
He does need some room to run around and play, but I love how snuggly this guy is too.
And part of the costume is for your big event coming up.
Yep, he is modeling some of those costumes that you can bring out for Sunday at Dogtoberfest. That's happening out at Capitol Brewery.
Be careful, it'll knock you out.
And this is one of my favorite events, so you can come on out with your pups, have some cold brews, some local food, and join in our costume contest. You can have your dog in there, or you could do the couples costume contest.
It's a great time.
Oh my gosh, it is fantastic.
All right, last time.
Oh, last time we had our
Bunny?
rabbit, Diana, and she still is available. She is over at our Adoption Center West, so go meet her because she is one spunky little gal.
There she is, yeah. And she was so soft.
She was so sweet, too.
All right, Danny. Look at him.
And you may not see him right away in the kennels, but just ask for Danny in the Adoption Center. You're going to want to meet this sweet guy.
He's just staring right at you. And there's the tail. You remember from the tail.
Better not have tchotchkes on your coffee table.
Let's get Danny at home. Marissa, thank you.
Thanks, Marissa. Good to see you.
Go to the website giveshelter.org for information on Danny and all the critters available. 838-0413 is the number to call.
When we come back, reporter Bob Woodward's explosive book on the Trump White House, Fear, goes on sale tomorrow.
And up next, we'll talk with Madison native and Washington Post associate editor David Meredith, a good friend of Woodward's, about the validity of his White House reporting.
Traffic-wise, should be fairly smooth if you're getting ready to hop out on the roads. Right now, here's a live look for you of US 12 and 18 right at Todd Drive. Both sides seem to be at least moving along. A little bit slower, though, if you are traveling eastbound. The Beltline, of course, just always gets a little slower around this time. Eastbound side, 24 miles per hour, 32, a little further west there. But overall, again, no major accidents and no major slowdowns. So that's always a good thing to report. The only part of Dane County still significantly closed, 14 through Cross Plains due to flooding. There are some isolated spots still downtown. If you're heading from Janesville to the Beltline northbound, about 28 minutes, 18 minutes from westbound Middleton towards Sauk City and then downtown to Sun Prairie. About 17 minutes. Notice all the green. That's always a good thing. That means things are rolling around just fine. But we're keeping a close eye on it just in case. That's a quick first alert update for you guys.
All right, thank you, Dana. The first international Lifeline rope rescue competition has kicked off in southwest China. 10 world-class teams from countries from China, Belgium, Japan, and Canada took place in the competition to show off their skills. The competition aims to exchange rescue skills and ideas among different countries, but it does not have a ranking list. A rescue team from Taipei was the first to reach the top of the 100-meter-high cliff.
This one was in the belly of the beast.
And what did you conclude about the beast?
That people better wake up to what's going on.
Washington Post Associate Editor Bob Woodward defended his explosive new book about the Trump White House over the weekend.
Woodward's colleague, Madison native and associate editor of the Washington Post as well, David Moranis, joins us. Welcome. Welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yes, always good to be here.
Summer flying by.
Summer in Madison.
So you know Bob Woodward personally.
I've known him for 41 years.
Can we trust what he wrote in his book?
You know, of all the people in the world to have to vouch for, Bob is the one that needs it the least. You can absolutely trust everything in his book. I've learned from Bob for 4 decades. I know how meticulous he is. I know that his constant phrase was get the documents, whatever they are. He would always say, go back and do another interview. The more you know, the better the interview will be. He taught so many Post reporters how to do it. At his house in Georgetown, he has file cabinets full of every interview he's ever done. Even if he's talking to me about Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, afterwards he'll write a memo about it and put it in his file cabinets. I would stake my life on his accuracy.
But what about the use of unnamed and anonymous sources? Does that put credibility in question, or how does the viewing public come to understand why journalists do that?
Well, it depends on what you're writing about. For instance, in my books, where if I'm not dealing with a politician or something that's happening in that moment, I will, in the back of the book, have notes for every single interview I've done. But to get the truth out of a sitting president, it requires a different form. Now, Bob tape records every interview he does. History will prove him to be right, as it has time and time again. But to get people to tell him what's really going on inside, he has to use unnamed sources. But that doesn't mean that he's using blind quotes. Everything in his books has details of exactly what was going on, who said what. They're all named. So it's a matter of him building up a reputation over a long period of time to be trusted with that.
So those anonymous sources, he knows who they are.
Well, he talked to every one of them. They came, you know, and they're all on tape recording. So yes, absolutely he does. He doesn't know who the anonymous is, though.
Right.
In the New York Times.
Yeah, no, yes, no.
And that's sort of a 1-2 punch against this president, his book and that op-ed piece.
Well, I think that Bob would say that they're quite different. And he, you know, I'm not even sure that the Washington Post would have run that op-ed piece because it doesn't have really any specifics in it. And you know, and it raises questions that sort of feed into the president's claims that this is a deep state trying to sabotage his presidency. So I think they're quite different. But you're right that over the last several weeks, the momentum has been growing to put pressure on the presidency.
Give us some of the historical context. When Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein were doing their Watergate story, were they believed at the time, or were they under the same kind of scrutiny that Bob is under now?
Bob and Carl were Metro reporters on the Washington Post. They weren't even on the national staff covering the White House. They were essentially on an island alone for quite quite a few months, they were the only two reporting what was going on. And so even within the Washington Post, there were certain editors who were dubious of everything they were getting. Ben Bradley, the top editor, and Howard Simons, the managing editor, believed in them, trusted them, and as Bradley would later say, the truth eventually emerges, and it did in that case. But there was a long period where they were out there alone.
And you think the truth will surface in this case as well?
Well, you know, as Bob said this morning, there's a war on truth going on right now. And, you know, that's why I felt compelled to, you know, as I said, he doesn't need vouching for, but in that war on truth, I think it's important for every serious journalist to say we're on Bob's side.
And how important are these midterm elections going to be?
I think the midterm elections are the key to everything, even more so than the Mueller investigation. You know, if the Democrats get control of the House, then everything changes.
Interesting times ahead.
Yes, indeed.
David, thanks for being with us today.
David, great to see you. Welcome back to Madison.
Thanks so much. Always great.
Enjoy what's left of summer.
Yes, exactly.
And we'll be right back. Keep coming.
In a good way.
Yes.
We're in a good pattern right now, guys. The weekend was beautiful. Today, gorgeous. And as we look ahead through the next 10 days, a lot of good news on the way. So your Tuesday will be in the mid-70s, a little bit warmer than today because our wind direction is going to shift, coming from the south instead. So that pattern of slightly warming, just a few degrees, is going to continue, as you can see, through the rest of the week. Expecting mostly sunny skies every day except for Wednesday. Wednesday, we may see a few more clouds in the afternoons, but I'm only expecting it to be partly cloudy. The weekend right now looks wonderful. It seems like our rain chance is really going to wait until the start of next week, and then we will cool right back down as that rain chance slides on through with a cold front and be a little cooler for the middle of next week. But that sun, lots of it.
And cooler next week, that's what it should be.
Correct. We're marching through September. We shouldn't be warming up. We should be cooling down.
We'll enjoy it for now.
Right.
Yes.
We will go down.
Are you sure? Is that what's going to happen?
I think so. All right, Dana, thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Tomorrow here on Live at 4, the Bucky Badger Parade across Dane County is coming up. It's coming to an end. We'll find out what's next for those 85 Buckies.
And Consumer Report says fruit juice may not be the best choice for your child's lunchbox. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Live at 4.